to you. Good morning to you from Spain. And I'm calling today from Lado, which is in Spain. And actually, Guillermo is joining me today. He's in Andorra. Andorra, which is a beautiful little place in between Spain and France in the mountains. And which is it's supposed to be absolutely lovely up there at the moment. And it also is quite cool. So that's a lovely place to be. And okay, during the show today, we're talking astrology, we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about numerology, we're talking about mediumship. It's all this lot combined together and the current energies that we're going through at the present time and why sometimes we're feeling a little bit conflicted, a little bit up in the air, perhaps up in the air. Yeah, we're going to be discussing this and so much more. Anyway, in the meantime, though, oh, everything's popping up on my screen. Goodbye. Right. Okay. In the meantime, though, I'm going to put a little intro in. I'll come back and talk to you just a minute, and then we'll get Guillermo on. How's that for a morning? There you go. Hello. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. And I hope you're well in this world, wherever you are. And we'd just like to say, here we are. We're on the, dear goodness, 25th of August already. Almost. Can I say the words? We're heading into autumn. Can I say those words yet? Am I allowed to? Do you forgive me for saying that? I mean, it's not going to be long. It'll be so many weeks. And it's Christmas. It's Christmas. Yes. I didn't say that. Anyway, so there we go there. Anyway, so this morning we're talking, if you'd like a reading this morning, then we need your birth details. We need your birth details, such as your date of birth. We need a question, and we also need a favourite colour. Here. So it's that'd be lovely to see you. Anyway, everybody's coming through this morning. Good morning, Catherine. Lovely to see you. As is Sally. Sally, good morning to you. And also to Susanna and even Guillermo, who's up there in Andorra, saying hello too. So it's not a bad connection up there. So from the mountains, it's not bad at all. Susanna's saying hi, and she's got a lovely little symbol there as well, whatever that means. Anyway, great. So let's crack on with the show, shall we? Let's go and do some of this stuff. Let's go and find out what's going on in the skies out there and how things are going to bear up this week, or maybe what we've got to look forward to, especially with some of the discussions we're going to have during the show. Okie dokie. So let's crack on with this, and I would just like to invite my very, very good friend Guillermo onto the show this morning, and from Andorra, here she is, coming through right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Look, you've even got a name under your picture now. This is technology just getting better and better. How's that?
I have a name under my picture.
Yes, so on your picture, people can see us now on Facebook. Yeah, it has your name now. I'm going to put everyone else's name above me, and yours is below. So how's that? Susanna's saying good morning, as everyone else is. And right, yes, great to see you guys. So here we are. We're coming towards the end of August. And what an unusual month this has been. It hasn't been easy for a lot of people, has it?
No, it's I think it's a very tough month, very energetically, and also like in Javier, in the area where we live, it's been really tough at all levels because of the heat, the humidity, the people. Oof, it's too much. And the thing is, with when you're very sensitive, humid weather is worse for you.
Yes.
Because the water just conveys all the energies, and for me, it's overwhelming. I feel too much.
Yes.
It just doesn't suit me well.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it to a certain point, but I think what people find is the heat and humidity gets absolutely exhausting. So you want to do loads at the start of the day, and by lunchtime or just after lunchtime, you've just got to crash. Just got to say, forget it. Take a nap, and then get on with the evening afterwards. Get on the early evening afterwards, which I find is easiest. Catherine Butler James says, "Do we need to send our date of birth on here on today's show?" Yes, by all means do. Just send in your date of birth. So date of birth here. We need a favourite colour, and we also need a question. The question's important, colour's important, as your date of birth. And that'd be great. That'd be great. Uh, Julie says, "Morning, Phil. Do you mention Christmas? Did you mention Christmas? We haven't had summer yet. It's not until Tuesday next week." Phil and Julie. No, I didn't mention that. I just said Christmas. Merry Christmas. Crazy. I know we're sort of not on our way down yet, but we're coming towards the end of August. And as soon as September comes, we start thinking, oh yeah, there we go. Here we go. Halloween, and then we've got Guy Fawkes, which are those people who are not British. You don't know what you're missing out on without Guy Fawkes. And then it's that. Oh, okay, here we go. Yes. Let's talk about summer next year. How's that? Should we talk about summer next year? That's more cheerful, isn't it? More cheerful. Far more cheerful. How's that? Okay, so Catherine, we're going to come back onto you in a little while, but we're going to just talk about other things just first of all. So the energies out there at the present time, we've got Venus going through Cancer, which is normally about loving everybody, home stuff and all this energy, isn't it? It's got a little bit of that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Venus and Cancer, it's all about the home. So Cancer's energy has to do with the home, but the first home we have is actually our own bodies.
Yes.
And then our house, and then our family, and our where we live, our neighborhood, et cetera, up until including the planet.
Yes.
But it starts from the inside always. So Venus is all about how are you taking care of yourself? How are you nurturing yourself? How are you being mindful about your basic needs? But the thing is, with all this planetary stuff going in Capricorn, that's so hard, and the trine to Neptune, it's there's a lot of people together with, at least in our part of the world, with the heat that we're living, it's very easy for people to forget about themselves, to just go off into Neptune and, just go to the sea, sleep, and all that stuff. That's very Neptunian. But by doing that, they're not taking care of themselves. They're forgetting to eat, they're forgetting to drink, they're forgetting to rest. This happens, summer in our area is pretty much like that, but it's very much accentuated.
Yeah.
And with the opposition of that Venus to Pluto and Saturn, right now Jupiter is a little bit left on to the side with no aspects. So Jupiter is like, it's exaggerating everything.
Yeah.
Jupiter is like a magnifying glass, and right now it's exaggerating everything. It's on top, and it's on in Capricorn, which is your mental structures.
Mm-hmm.
So with it, if we don't take care of ourselves, what happens is we dissociate.
Okay. Yeah.
Which means we go off into the mind and we disconnect from the body and our feelings. When we dissociate, it's not a good idea, because that means that all the collective energies that resonate with your lowest vibes, all the cellular memories that are in your body still, that has to be dislodged by this Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter going through Capricorn. And as I said, Jupiter, the magnifying glass, like being full time. So what's going to happen is these cellular memories are going to attract the lowest part of the collective energies. Yeah. And then you're going to feel anxious.
Yes.
And then you're not going to be able, you're not very much controlling your own impulses by that. So
I think, yes.
You are at mercy of the collective consciousness, so to speak.
Yes, I think that's quite a big point there to go and make, isn't it? Because when you're not focusing on yourself, you're just stuck in your head focusing about everything else other than yourself. Yes, I think your health can really suffer, and sometimes we've got to take care of that a little bit. One of the things I found though through going through August, which helped me terrifically, was I went more gluten free, coming off of normal bread and going to gluten free bread, and my God, the change. I didn't realise just how much gluten. In fact, there's Deborah as well, the producer. She's actually going through the same thing herself. She's come off gluten. She feels fantastic. She's taking care of her health. You can see her. I see a buzz about her. I feel I've got more energy. And it's interesting when you're on the right diet, the right thing there, yeah, where it's going here. Often you find here that a lot of water, which we all think is fat. Oh, I'm so fat, I'm overweight, I'm fat. And sorry if I'm using those words that offends people. But often the time here is because your body can't digest what you're eating. So it throws it out there, but it's just water. And then when you start eating the right stuff, that water just disappears. Also with water, I think as well, if we're very anxious, it's a natural thing for our bodies to hold on to water because it's protecting us. It's a sense of protection. So if we're over anxious, we're going to have a lot more water in the body because your body senses, I've got to protect my organs. I've got to protect everything around it so it doesn't feel like it's threatened. But that's an adverse effect. So I think
exactly, but it's totally interrelated because it's the same thing, really. I mean, if we're anxious, it's because when we're anxious, we're in the mind, and when we're in the mind, we're anxious because it's like the same thing. When you don't inhabit your body, when your mind isn't in your body, but it's out there, it's thinking about other people, other things, the past, the future, and all that. When your mind's just spinning around on its own and it just can't quiet down, it's normal to be anxious and vice versa. It's all symptomatic of not being connected to you. And of course, you retain liquids, you're more codependent. So everything is much more difficult when you are dissociated. And you're also, as I was saying before, inhabited by collective energies, which you normally don't like. And basically, you have to deal with a lot more shit than if you are inhabiting your body. So, but for now, the evolution, the way we evolve, involves normally a bit of pain. But it is not that necessary. If we actually evolve connecting through our body instead of analyzing through our minds, we don't need to deal with all of that.
I totally agree, because the pain, I think, is the overthinking, the over anxious. What am I going to do? How am I going to cope without eating this or drinking that? Or how am I going to do this? It's almost like addiction, isn't it? But there's a relationship between the person and the habit or the addiction. Just call it addiction, whether it's chocolate, whether it's alcohol, whether it's salt, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, that relationship, because that relationship sometimes takes priority over everything else, because you're working your head rather than understanding what your body needs. And what your body needs is just to disassociate from that. And yet, if we get out of our heads, as you're saying, work through our hearts, we're going to start thinking, well, actually, is no good for me. It's not helping me. And I can actually enhance my health and feel good.
Exactly. And when we're connected to our body, so to connect to our body, basically, it's just covering your own needs. So, sleep well, drink properly, which is water or teas, eat properly, which is just eat regularly. It doesn't mean like eat. Sometimes people think, oh, if I eat lettuce and chicken breasts, that's eating properly. It's not. Eating properly is what your body asks for you. What your body wants in tiny measures all throughout the day. That's eating properly.
I agree.
It can be different for each person, but it's very important. If we mind our sleep, our food, our drink, our rhythms, our natural rhythms, we're going to be more connected to our bodies.
Little trick I learned from someone else I was talking to about, for example, if we're eating too much, we want to lose weight. One of the things here we could actually do is to change the size of your plate. Get a smaller plate. Often you'll find that you just adjust to it very quickly, just by a smaller plate.
The thing is, treat yourself as a baby. So, would you have a baby eat all the food at once? Well, no, because they won't be able to digest it. A baby needs to eat like every half an hour or every hour. And the doctors just go like, feed the baby every, 3 or 4 hours. And that's wrong. A baby needs to eat more often because it needs to learn to digest food. And so do we. And it's not only digesting food. I mean, if we don't learn how to digest food when we're babies, what's going to happen? We're not going to learn how to digest emotions when we're more grown up. Mm-hmm. There's a direct relationship.
Always a fascinating subject, this. I think we ought to do something on discussing food, astrology and psychotherapy to do with food addictions, even any addiction, and how we can learn to break those habits there. That'd be an interesting thing. Yes. Oh, everybody's commented. Thank you very much, Susanna. She says, so true, so true. Catherine says, thank you. And it's a lovely little morning. And also, producer put up, says, next week is Shanina, and we're discussing aliens and veganism. Oh. Just a normal sort of everyday subject you want to talk about, don't you? Aliens and veganism. You want to know about that? You want to come on the show next Tuesday. See you guys next Tuesday. Anyway, right, okay. So, Yes, interesting. So we've got this Venus, and I would believe my mind tells me here that we're being made aware of this. We're being made aware. Venus going through Cancer is making us aware we need to do something to change this status quo we're going through at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Venus is going through Cancer, but the North nodes have been in Cancer for a long time. So the Cancer energy, we're kind of familiar about it. And it's just like putting an extra accent and an extra contrast with, it's like, hey, wait a minute, wait a minute. You did a good job, like during lockdown and all that. Like you started taking care of yourself. You started to realize how important this is. But now we're out in the street again, and you're back to work again. And it seems that you guys have forgotten how
Mm-hmm.
important it is to be mindful about yourself. So
Yeah.
that's a bit what Venus is saying there, no?
Yes.
And at the same time, it's making that like a contrast with Venus, with Neptune, as I was saying. Neptune in Pisces, it's a trine. So Neptune in Pisces says, yeah, I'll take care of myself. I'm gonna go on vacation. I'm gonna eat really bad food. I mean, which I think is good food, but it's bad because it's not what my body really needs. I'm not gonna sleep because I'm gonna party all night. I'm just gonna be at the beach, which is very nice. But are you actually being mindful about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Have we forgotten about ourselves? And it's very easy to forget about yourself again. You
Yes.
think you had it, but you
Yes.
lose it, no?
Yes. No, I agree. I agree. So then we got just to bring in this conversation because it's going to come in through September and it's going to it could have quite a influence if I put it around lives there. Mars is going through Aries. It's trundling through. It's slowing down now, and then it's going to go retrograde. And Mars is the energy, isn't it? Mars is the energy that motivates us to keep us doing things, to focus on our goals, to keep us moving. And all of a sudden, it's going to come out of phase. Phase is
Mm-hmm.
this retrograde cycle through its own sign of Aries, which is more about a personal side, maybe our appearance, how we feel about energy, what we want, what we don't want. Do you so last time Mars went retrograde, this was in Capricorn, I think, wasn't it? Was this Capricorn, which is about 1 or 2 years ago?
End of 2017, I think, no?
Yes, I think it was. I think it was in Capricorn. Yes, it's
There were
interesting.
manifestations. It was the Me Too movement.
Yes, yes. Now that's an interesting thing because we've got all these planets now in Capricorn, and then we've got Mars going retrograde in Aries. But the last time it was retrograde was in Capricorn, and yet we've still got that polarity playing out here. So there's a theme maybe that goes back to 2017. 2017, December, winter of 2017 to coming up now. What is it we need to change?
Yeah, it sounds like collective manifestations because Mars is also conjunct to Lilith, who wants freedom.
Yes.
And and I think back then Lilith was also in Capricorn at the end of the year when Mars was there too.
That was interesting because I think people did want a lot of freedom through their particular lives at that point, and I think they wanted freedom from the way they were working. And I think that was the start of the phase that we're sort of going through now. Suzanne says, "Oh no, does that mean I have to slow down?"
Yeah, Susanna, it doesn't mean that you have to slow down. It means that you're gonna slow down.
You're going to slow down.
Yeah, so but the stars are energies that are there, and we choose to live accordingly to them, or we go against them because our egoic mind doesn't get it and is stuck in its old patterns and doesn't live life organically. So it's a slow down. It can be frustrating, this kind of energy, because you can feel trapped. You can feel encorseted, because it's Capricorn Aries. At the same time, those two signs are cardinal, which are all about it having the initiative. Venus in Cancer is also cardinal, so
Yes.
it's like I want to do things, I want to achieve things, I want to have things done, I want things to happen, but everything's going backwards, which
Yes.
means but how do you want? Are you sure? Are you doing it right? Like like I was saying before, Venus, are you remember to take care of yourself? Are you letting go of those old patterns, or are you back to that again? Are you working the same way you were before, or have you really changed things? What are you going for? what are you doing to get to your goals? Are you doing the same things as before that's leading you to get trapped again?
Yeah.
Or are you actually doing something different? Like, are you, and then you go to Mercury, which is conjunct the sun right now in Virgo. It's like, Mercury says a bit like, so Mercury sun is supposed to be like somebody who's very good at communicating. Well, actually, what I find is Mercury sun has difficulty in communicating, because it's like, I want to say a lot of things, but I get lost in my mind.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if what I think is mine or not mine. So, and that makes me doubt. And if you're doubting, basically you're not connected to your body, so your thoughts aren't yours. So the question in Virgo is, so what exactly is it that you want? Like, if you're asking questions, if you're asking, like, I know this is a show where you ask questions, okay?
Yes.
So it's okay in a way, because, you know, that way we can have a conversation. But it's, if you ask a question, for example, in this show, it's just for you to receive clarity on something that you already knew.
Yes.
And if you don't connect with that fact that you already knew that, then that means you're totally in the mind and not connected to your body. So
yeah.
It's really all about discerning that Sun, Mercury, and Virgo. It's that what is your truth and what isn't your truth. And maybe that which isn't your truth is a collective thought. So it could be either a social thought, a family thought, but it's not yours. And that can come into contradiction with your own thoughts, what you really want.
Yeah.
And then you doubt.
It's interesting here, isn't it? Because we spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time here earlier on in the year with Corona and being in lockdown, and we all went through a lot of thinking there. And now we're coming into it again to do another lot of thinking. And it's interesting. Sometimes thinking, why we got to do all this thinking? Why we got to do all this stuff? We've had it already. Why we got to do this again? And I think people,
because we're stubborn.
Yes, we think we probably are. Yes, and my view on this here is we went through post COVID, went through COVID. Now we're coming out. Pre-COVID, and we're coming out post COVID. And I think here that we're now coming into, we're trying to realign our lives to do something different. Perhaps a lot of our lives have changed. We're not doing the same jobs anymore. We're not living the same way. We're working differently. I mean, councils especially are now, just about everybody's working from home. People who are out traveling a lot are now working online. They're doing a lot of different things. But I think here with these retrogrades coming in, retrogrades of Mars retrograde and Venus and Cancer, all this stuff going on, Virgo and Capricorn, very much I think it's about, well, yes, you're doing this, but now you've got to go back in here to realign with this, this energy you're taking up to say, how is it you're going to see your future that's going to work, say, not just now, but maybe for the next 10 years?
Yeah. And for example, so we're changing era, basically. It's a huge shift. So to be able to change era, that means that we are all making a huge shift from within.
Yeah.
Right? So we are very much stuck by what we see on the outside. We really believe what we're seeing on the outside. And the more you believe on the reality you observe around you, the more you believe that is fixed, the more you're going to not make the inner change that is necessary to adapt to the new era. Okay,
yes.
So
yes.
Placing it in the context of the COVID, let's say what's compulsory now with COVID, for example, wearing a mask, cleaning your hands, right? So like staying more inside, working from home. So basically what this is telling us is contain yourself and be within. Right? That's the message. So if I resist containing myself and being within, and I want to be outside and I want to, life as usual, then what I'm going to suffer on the outside is greater. Whereas if I go, okay, containment, going within, I'm going within and I'm going to be mindful about how I feel and how I am. If I do this, I will automatically start living a more sustainable life, and that will help live a more sustainable, in the long run, create a more sustainable planet. If I'm sustainable, if I use less resources, if I'm more mindful about myself, then I will help to create that new planet, which is more sustainable. ecologically and socially and economically. But if I keep on doing the same things I did before, what's going to happen is I'm going to live another lockdown.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because we don't change. We don't see what we've got to do to change our lives to make ourselves. And I think this thing about Venus going through Cancer, about looking after yourself, is there's a big thing at the moment. Very big thing at the moment. I think that's lovely. Right. Okay. We're gonna do a little bit of this, and then we're gonna come back and let's chat to some people out there. A few people have written in, and let's have a look at their charts. Okay, right. So Susie wrote in. Susie wrote in yesterday. She sent me an email, and she just wanted to know just a couple of things there, basically about where her life is going at the present time. She just said here she'll be listening to the show and just wants something quite general there. Okay, so Susie, very, very nice to welcome you onto the show, and hope you are well. Hope you're wherever we are. And a fine young lady you are by the year that you brought in there. I'm not going to say the year, but a fine young lady that you are. That sounded good, whatever went by then. That sounded something Italian. That sounded something like an Italian car, Italian sports car there. I bet he's rushing home to go and switch on the show. Bless him. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it all happens when it's live, doesn't it? Okay, Susie, so your numbers here, you came up with a 268. That's what your numbers add up to here. And it's very lovely to see your numbers here and just work on your charts and see where you're going. What's interesting here is that the two parts around you is very much about needing, not in some respects here, having that strength about you, but also, would you understand if I said to you here that sometimes you look towards other people for your support, for support in your life around you, for like people to give you guidance, rather than sometimes take it from yourself. There is a need sometimes here in your life here to have a seesaw effect, where we're not too down on one side and not too up on the other. Your two energies is nice for this. However, you would really much like to and want to work with harmony and building with people here. There's also quite possibly here a sense of like needing to just trust and just find your way, but sometimes you lose this when you give out too much energy to other people. And the sixth part of you, though, can be very, very strong. So after a while, people see, well, I thought you were this softer person, but now you just turned out to be super strong. Super strong here. And so your strength here sometimes is a better part to play in the first place, rather than just trying to be over nice and comforting and not over nice, but I'm sure you know what I mean here. And that energy is quite strong here. So I think for your energy around you now, where you're going to, especially this year, is a number 7. Now, it's interesting here because your number 7 is very much about the harmony of the spirit, being more spiritual, finding, and actually through this particular time we're going through, as we've been discussing this morning, listening to your needs, listening to what it is you want yourself, spiritually, emotionally, worldly, whatever it is you want for you. Even food, even the basic necessities you need, which makes your life more sustainable and happier, is a need right now with your 7 energy there. But it's also very spiritual. So also listen to that side there that says, oh, I can sense energy and bring out that lovely energy around you there. And I think that's a lovely energy there. Great. Okay. That's that bit. I'm going to pop over to you again, Mark. What would you like to say to Susie?
Yeah, so Susie has a mix of energies because, she's a Scorpio and her moon is in Pisces.
Oh, yeah.
So that's water, but the Scorpio is like more, it's like a tougher sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Pisces moon is just all loving and caring of everybody else. But the North Node and Lilith are in Aries. Like right now we have Lilith in Aries, and they want freedom, they want independence, they don't want to be constrained. Scorpio doesn't either. But that Pisces moon wants to sacrifice himself or herself, in this case, for everybody. So here's a bit of a tension between these two, no? And basically, you've got Susie, you've got Saturn in Virgo, And that's connecting to that Piscean moon and also to that Lilith and North Node in Aries, which is you need to align with your independence of who you really are. And then your Sun Uranus also wants to, say independence, even though Uranus is in Cancer and says, I don't want to be alone. I have abandonment issues, right? So Saturn says the way to, like Phil was saying, the way to overcome this is basically to find your own rhythm. Basically to look, try to find your own methods, your own balance, in your own taking care of yourself, in your own routine, because you wouldn't, Saturn in Virgo doesn't like for somebody else to impose their routine on you, but you do need a routine. You do need to put limits. You do need to choose what is good and what is bad for you. So that's the main message.
Yes. I think what's interesting here for Susie is that because I think she's got not two personalities, but there's one side that wants to make everybody comfortable. But then really what's come out behind is this power. Then people suddenly, whoa, they go, well, we thought you were like this, but now you're like that. But really, it's boom, that should come through straight away. And people will really respect that energy. I think it's gorgeous. Lovely energy there. You'll look at money around you, look at where you're living. You're going to look at where you're traveling to. There could well be a home move that comes up for you, Susie, which will come up then maybe the next year or so here at the very most. But no, it looks about homes, and you're trying to seek where you're going to. You've got this intuitive card of the moon. Now, this is because you're in a 7 year. This is a marvelous time just to focus in on your heart and just be guided where you want to go to. And listen to yourself on this, though. Don't be pushed into you've got to go to places that other people want you to go to. You've got a place where you want to go to. And I think that's a nice energy there. And I think lovely. And okay. Anything else there? No? Anything else to add there? I think it's about it, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Now, Catherine wrote in, and here's her details here.
Catherine.
Yes, Catherine Butler Jones. I'll just put her details up on the screen there. She's 18th of 6th, 1972. And, okay, Catherine, you've gone for colour royal blue. Will you get some good news today, please? Good news. News is interesting, isn't it? Because royal blue is sometimes here, which can be very disciplined. It can be very structured. So maybe some of the news you're looking for is about structure, maybe even about property itself. But look at news in this sense here. With the energy at the minute, it's a very unusual energy. So sometimes even if message is delayed, it's delayed for good reason, not bad reason. It's not to go against you. Definitely not. I get a feeling here that what's going to be playing out with you, although you're asking about today, what I would like to look at is the bigger picture where life is taking you. And I think here, what you're going to work out here, what you're going to work out between now and almost Christmas, and by the time you get through to Christmas itself, is you being in an extremely strong, better, happier, more powerful place. What you got playing out here for quite a while, even if you got good news today, would be time. Time will play itself out very slowly. So even if you got good news now, it says, yeah, we got this, but it's not. All the functions of this aren't going to happen until a bit later on. And your numbers here, by the way, you in fact look at a workout, do your numbers in a moment. But I'll go straight over to the astrology and see what you pick over there, Catherine. It's over, Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine is 18. You said 18.
18
June?
6, 1972.
1972. Okay. So Catherine has a North Node in Capricorn, as well as the solar eclipse, Jupiter, and Lilith, Saturn. So that's a lot of Capricorn energy, even though the Sun is in Gemini, Moon is in Virgo. Also, what's interesting is that Lilith is connected also to, it's doing a trine to Mercury. So it's all about, in Catherine's case, of realizing how much the social and family traditions and collective structures of how things should be have influenced you all your life. And Mercury, so Capricorn is very patriarchal, but Mercury is even more, or in Gemini, the sign it rules, is even more patriarchal. And you have Saturn, the Sun, and Venus in Gemini. So it's all about these two signs. It's the game between these two signs and how these two signs can difficult the evolution of the other or can help the evolution of the other. So the mind can be totally kidnapped or subdued by collective consciousness, by the collective ideas. So as I was saying before, like social beliefs, the family beliefs, and if you don't realize it, you can buy into that completely. And with all that Capricorn energy, for sure you've done it for ages, but that will always lead you to the road of frustration until you truly find the way to individualize your own mind. And with Lilith and Scorpio, you can do that studying and learning new things. So through studying and learning new things, you can come to connect with new beliefs, new ideas, new concepts that can help you to detach from these collective constructs that have your mind under control, so to speak. And it's very important for you to realize how your mind can be absolutely free and create its own reality, but you have to let go of old beliefs.
Yes. Yes. This is interesting. This is such an interesting energy on this here, is because your energies in numerology come up to, you're a 347. 347, and the 3 is about I can communicate, I can chat, I can network with people. Is fantastic, it's great. Then we got the 4. This really ties up with the Capricorn stuff. Capricorn is about stability. Capricorn's about structure. I totally agree with you that our personality number there, it says, but I want to go and have fun. I want to play. I want to talk to people. I want to party. I want to do crazy, nutty things. And your Capricorn side says, but you need structure. You need stability. And yet, I don't want to, I do want that, but I want the other side as well. So I can understand this really plays out what you're saying is in a chart and what is going on with the numbers here, because they're contrasting like this.
Yes.
What I then come together and do is they form 7. And 7 here says, then which way, how do I find the peace? And the peace has to come through a spiritual sense. Has to come through a spiritual sense where, okay, I can do all this. I can have structure. I can have fun, but I don't take myself so seriously. It's not so hard. It's not so like you're trying to pull elastic bands. I'm going that way, but you're being pulled back that way. No, I can just be. I can float and enjoy and embrace all of it. And the royal blue is like you set yourself up here to be, do you know who I am? there's this sense of power about you, although there's fun here. And it's not taking itself too seriously. That's the energy there. In your
discovering. It's about discovering the essence of truths.
Yes.
So if I study many truths, so I learn many truths, I can discover the essence of those truths, and that's what can free you.
Okay, fantastic. This is so interesting. I think yes, and I think that the truth here is, and sometimes the fear is the truth could be freedom, and you think no, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. I can't believe it's good freedom, because your Capricorn side, the structure side there is almost like lets you know that you can't let go of responsibility. This is so karmic here that it's not about you've got to cut away responsibilities and just go and be a wild child. I think here this is an energy we just want to say here, yes, embrace all of it. Embrace all of it. Mm-hmm. Learn. As you learn, you can play. As you learn, you can play. And as you learn, you can play.
Yeah.
Right, rather than just play, your Capricorn side is going to go bang and say, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. Right. Okay. Just dropped a card here. Excuse me. Card here. And my green screen moved, but it's all right, I think. No, it's okay. Right. Let's have a look here. So we're going to look at what the cards are very briefly saying around you here. Let's go right here, Catherine. Let's go right. So regarding news coming to you, are you going to find good news today? I would say here, well, actually, yes, you are. Yes, you are. However, I've got to say to you, there is good news. Do not rush. Play things back and don't, in a sense here, if you would understand this, do not sell yourself cheap. And I would play the long game, because you're going to get a lot more benefits to news come up in front of you later on, which is going to be very good. So I'll say, yes, you are going to get good news. But what I look at here is just be careful with timing.
Yeah, and another thing is that the part of your mind that is free can sometimes be very impatient. So it's important for you to acknowledge that not everybody's at the same place and not everybody has the same rhythm.
Yes.
So instead of discussing and getting into dramas, which
Yes.
that South Node in Cancer kind of love, together with that Mars and Mercury there too, no dramas. Understand other people have different truth, and that's fine. That's how it should be. Respect
Yes.
others.
Yes. And Catherine, I believe you're in Wales. If you're in Wales today, I hope you all are well after the storms out there, because I gather you had an absolute battering in Wales, and I hope that, yes, I hope you're all okay. Hope you're all okay up there. In fact, everybody in Wales, anybody listening in Wales, anybody in UK got battered by storms, I hope you're all okay. Anyway, right. Okie dokie. Oh, this is nice. Priscilla says, I'll come back to her. Yes, I'll come back to her now. Priscilla says, "Hi, Phil. I've been unwell, but I'm back watching. But I'm glad you're well now. Let's give you a little round of applause. Hey, a little round of applause. I'm back watching there. That's absolutely fabulous there. And a hoot too. There you go. That's it. That's good. Happy? Hope that makes you nice happy. Okay, let's go and have a word with Sally. Now, Sally's come through. She says, "Can I ask for some guidance?" She says that as a date of birth, the 9th of 10th, 1975. Colour blue. Question, please, can I have some guidance on how to deal with the situation at present? Thank you. Okay. Well, we don't know what the situation is. And I understand probably you don't want to write that down. That's absolutely fine. And but let's... oh dear! Oh, just come back to this. Yes, a very big tree down by me. Thank you both. That was Catherine. She just wrote back to saying about Wales and the weathers and the storms. Big tree came down. Anyway, oh dear, everything's all right. Anyway, so Sally, let's have a look at this here. So I wrote your numbers down, and you're a 314. You're a 314 here, and. The 3 here, it's a lovely energy, your 3, but I do find this amusing in some respects, if I could say amusing in some respects here, because your 3 number here says, yes, let's all communicate together, and let's all understand one another, and let's all make a plan. And the 3 energy here is all enthusiastic, but it's all of a sudden, like it's about like 3 people speaking 3 different languages at the same time, trying to understand one another. It's what do they say? What does this mean? What does this mean? But it's almost like we're getting a bit jumbled up here, especially at the moment. So I'd say here, it's about getting things very clear out into the open. Your 1 energy is furious with you if you don't get things clear. It's furious. In fact, you have a war with yourself. Now, it's interesting because you're Libra as well, so that understands that too. Yes. So there's a war here, thinking, why did I not get this right? It's because you gave too much power away with your 3. So the 3 gave too much power with you. You're giving all the power to everybody else, and then it comes back and says, but that's not quite what I wanted. It's not quite what I wanted here. So the power here is to be very direct with your 1 and just go, that's how it needs to be. That's how it needs to be. So regarding your situation here and the colour blue, one thing I really pick up with you, Sally, here, and it's something I learned from someone, sometimes joins the show actually, chatting to her a long while ago. She's like, it's fair but firm. Fair but firm. Be fair but be firm. So where your guidance is concerned here, I would say here to be fair and be firm. And to stand your ground and not be too nice. If you approach this situation like that, and you haven't given us the situation, and we're not going to openly discuss it because it could be something that's a bit sensitive, but if you understand this, what we're saying at the moment here, then fantastic. Regarding this year, you're in a 5-year. This is lovely energy. This go and be radical. Go and be radical, but be strong with it. Stand by it and say, but I can.
Yeah.
But I can. People say, why are you doing that for? Because I can.
Exactly. Yeah. So Sally is the sun in Libra, as you said, and that sun is conjunct Mercury and Pluto. And
Ooh.
It so happens, I think I said it before, Sun Mercury, like we have now Sun Mercury, it's people that apparently they say, okay, Sun Mercury can communicate easily. No, they can't. They have difficulty communicating. Normally when you have something powerful in the chart, you're going to have difficulty expressing it, because that something powerful normally goes against social norms, or at least our beliefs. So we're going to be shy about actually showing that, right? So anyway, as we know now at this height of this show, no, that when we see Libra, it means that inside your mind there's an inner conflict between two aspects of yourself, one that's very strict and one that wants to play. So you have a Saturn Leo, which says basically when you were tiny, you were not allowed to play. And then you have a moon in Sagittarius with Neptune, which says you didn't get, like, mom didn't like you too much. And moon Neptune is mom was so sacrificed. There's a sun moon. So there's like mom and dad are more or less agreeing with themselves, but it's a sun Pluto, so dad is like a big figure. So you got this two powerful daddy and mommy figures who more or less want things their own way, and they didn't allow you because they sold you this image that especially mom, you know, she sacrificed herself for you, but at the same time she didn't want to have you near you because you put her in contact to her own incoherences. And you know, when there's a moon in Sagittarius, it's like, I prefer you further away because I can't stand you. So basically you thought that there was something wrong in you and that you had to fix it and you had to be better. And also you had Saturn Venus, which you never really learned how to relate to people because also mom and dad weren't a good example. And there's a Uranus Saturn, which wants independency. So in the long run, you learn to be very autonomous and be with yourself. There's a South Node in Taurus, but that Saturn Venus and that North Node in Scorpio says you have to learn to cooperate with others and relate in a real way to others. And that Sun in Libra says you have to make amends with that stunted part of yourself that is so strict. To be able to express this 2020 for Libra is all about getting into the fight and not trying to avoid it, because Libra tries to avoid fights because Libra's always fighting in his head, in her head. So you have to come to amends with this and say what you want, and you have the right to want what you want, basically. And then with that, you also have a Lilith Mars. So Lilith Mars wants that independency, and just express it. And just, even though if you express it, it might hurt somebody, that's their problem. You have all the right in the world to express what you want, and that is absolutely necessary, because otherwise you're not going to fit in ever.
That is such an interesting thing with Libra, isn't it? Because you think of this lovely, lovely sign, the charming sign of zodiac, wants to keep everybody happy, wants to make everybody feel comfortable in their environment, and yet they've got to stand up and fight. And it's the bit they hate, whether it's a Libra moon or whether it's a sun in Libra, as far as I can say, and even a Libra moon with the emotions.
And rising.
Yes, and Libra rising. Whoa, it's strong. It's almost like, I want to make everything right. But it's interesting, your numbers, though, saying you're 3-1. 3 is getting everything communicated and right, clear. Needing to get clarity and communication. You're 1 tying up with this, saying, right, everybody knows what they're doing, everybody knows where they're at, and you know where you're at, and it's in harmony. And if it's not in harmony, your 1 is just going to say, this isn't right. You cannot go ahead with things until it's right. Otherwise, you're giving your power away to other people.
Yeah, I have a moon Venus, you know, and Libra in the 12th house, because I'm a Scorpio rising. So I have a bit of this Libra thingy, and if this serves you, Sally, and it serves anybody, any listener, basically, like years ago, I would cycle with guys, because years ago there were no girls cycling practically. It was just me, no. And so whenever we split up into 2, one would go the longer way and one would go the shorter way, I would go the longer way, and everybody who was worse than me would always go the shorter way. The result is that whenever we reached the cafe stop, I would always be the last one there. So this time, because, you know, all the ones that went the shorter way would get there first, then would get all the ones that were stronger, and I would be the last of the strongest always. So I knew it was a very tough, long ride and lots of mountains. And so I told the guys that went the short way, please order my sandwich, my bocadillo, because I'm going to be starving and I'm going to be really like zero energy when I get there. Yeah, we have an expression in Spanish, it's pájara. So it's like when you get like this low sugar and you're like your head's all over the place, and you need food right then and there. So the guy says, yeah, we'll order for you, and I want this, yeah. And so in the end, I'm the last one to reach the restaurant. When I'm there, everybody's eating their bocadillo. So they've been there for a long time. And so I asked the guy I told, to order mine, and have you ordered it? And he goes like, what? Ordered what? And then suddenly, out of the blue, me, who I've always been like so polite, so nice, so quiet. Like I have no fire in my house, in my chart. I have difficulty expressing my anger. Suddenly I just go, what the fuck? Are you guys idiots or what? I want my food. It's like, it just came out of me like that. It was just so crazy. And everybody just squared and go, oh, please sit down. Here, have some wine. We'll order yours and have some drinks. Have some. And it's like for a couple of weeks, everybody was just like this with me, carrying me everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, like I've been withholding myself all my life. And it just takes like one time to just yell it out. And then everything is fine. It's like, this is so cool. So
do you know what? I love this. I love this conversation because anybody out there is Libra or got Libra moons or got something going on in Libra are going to really relate to this. Because Libra doesn't want, I agree, it doesn't want to have that fight. But when they do have that fight, like that expression there, afterwards and the dust calmed down, everybody can't help you enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes Libra go out there, if you're going to have a war, make it a bloody good one, because at the end of it, people are going to be overwhelmingly supportive. You're going, oh my God, we didn't know you felt like that. Oh my God, we didn't know where that was. Dear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not, so Libra doesn't understand this because since they have this voice bickering all day long, you can't do this guy's stupid. So they have a feeling that if that comes out into the world, it's going to be really bad because there's this bickering voice. But this bickering voice is just an aspect of you that got stunted as a child because it had to be too responsible, like from a very young age, and that it didn't allow for the other part of you to play. And there's a part of you that wants to play, but unless this part of you who got stunted brings the anger out into the world, you can't resolve this.
No. You got to do it. I totally agree with you. The things I've resolved by having to have to let go, so to speak. Here, people look at me like this, but then afterwards they go, "Okay, no problem."
Exactly, but the ideal is to actually go over to the other side.
Yes, and be absolutely
not just speak your voice.
Just get that to people. Go, oh my God, look, they're upset. Yes, because otherwise people just walk over you and they think, yeah, it's all fine. It's all fine. Yeah, they don't mind. They're easygoing. They're da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes.
Exactly.
I love this. This is what Deborah said. She's got a Libra moon in the 12th house. She says, some of my best conversations are with myself.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic. Are you all right? Yes, I've just talked to myself. It's okay. That's good. That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, Sally also says, so far true, especially about Libra.
Yes. Oh, no, brilliant.
With a funny face.
And Evita, who's listening as well, she's actually going to be on the show tonight. I'm going to tell you this about this guys in a little while. We've got a few minutes left here. But Evita's coming on at 6:30 Spain time, 6:30 Spain, 5:30 UK. And we're going to be talking mediumship. She's an up-and-coming medium. We're going to be talking about this. So she's coming on tonight. So Evita, you'll meet her. And Evita, you'll meet her. This is very poetic. Poetic. My threes are out of sync today. Anyway, so yes, we'll talk about this in a minute. Anyway, yes. Sally says, I feel for you. This is what Libras like. They do understand. They understand other Librans. They go, oh my God, I know you felt that. I felt this, but I didn't say it. And I felt that. No, say it. And it's interesting because even Deborah, the producer, when people push her a bit too far, we'll say, I'm not putting up with this. And I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. Because I'm Libra moon in the 7th. And I just want to just say, hey, people, let's relate to each other. Let's just get on. But then Deborah would say here, I'm going to have words. I'm thinking, okay. But actually, it works right. Because then the person goes, I get you. I misunderstood wherever it is. And then the balance forms and then we have a better relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there you go. There you go. Right. Right. Sally says, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, Sally.
Okay, right. Very quick chat about this. Then we're going to round up on a couple of things I'd love to talk to you about. In fact, I want to talk about this. I keep talking about this, but we don't talk about it. But that's good, isn't it? That sounds good English. Right. So Evita. Evita is a very nice medium. She's an up-and-coming medium from Scotland. But one is Scotland up there. And when I set up a training course for mediums, and we're working online, and Evita has done absolutely amazingly well. And she's going to come on the show tonight, talk a little bit about mediumship, and be on there for about an hour. It's a pop-up, so we're just going to pop up at about 5:30 UK, 6:30 Spain, talk about mediumship, spirituality, and then you'll see her coming on the show on a Tuesday night in October. And yes, but more about that later on tonight. But I really look forward to interviewing Evita, getting her to talk about herself there. And it's great. Yes, it's great fun here. If you've got an Aries talk about themselves, you'll just go, yeah, off you go.
Especially if you have a Libra moon.
They're just chat. Actually, I've got Aries in the first house. Aries in the first house of Libra moon, and Jupiter in Aries as well. Yes, I do chat. No, not really. Anyway, Sally. What I pick up here is your cards here are very interesting. You need to clear the air. You definitely need to clear the air. If you clear the air, you will feel good. You will feel good. Clear it. Don't go round the houses. Say it.
Yep.
Say it. She says, thank you guys. Okay. Okay, so what I'd like to talk about next week is, and it's an interesting subject, that if we don't fulfill our sign, like if Capricorn, Scorpio, if you don't be a true Cancer, you're not fulfilling the role of your Cancerian sun, wherever it is in your chart, we can then become the opposite sign, the negative of the opposite sign, which is the negative Capricorn, which could be very dogmatic, very hard going, and like a wet blanket in some respects.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what we've got to watch out for is, and that's going to be interesting. So we're going to talk next week in the first part of the show and about fulfilling your sun's sign, fulfilling and doing the role you should be doing. You guys out there, what we want is we want your birth details ahead of the show, because it's going to be a very interesting one. This is, in fact, we'll have a good discussion about this. And then also, I'll be letting you know some dates in September, because Guillermo and myself are going to come on a Tuesday evening and do relationships through astrology, which I'm sure will be great. We get on sometimes. Anyway, so so we're going to talk about it next week. So if you're interested in this, you want to know about fulfilling your sun sign, your soul's purpose is the sun. We're going this house, the system, the way it plays out, the aspects it makes. And if we don't do that, the opposite, the negative, the opposite sign. So if you're Aquarian, you become a negative Leo. You could do that, but we don't want you to do that. We want to help you guys fulfill your purpose where you're going. Could be quite a big subject here, quite a big thing, and see how we get on. But lovely. But Guillermo, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us today from Andorra, in between in the Pyrenees.
Nice, cool Andorra.
Oh, nice, cool.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you everybody for watching.
Yes, a big thank you to Deborah for producing this show. Thank you very, very much, and to all you guys out there wrote in. And yes, we'll see you guys very, very soon. And thank you. No, that was very interesting this morning, and thoroughly enjoyed it. So yes, take care. Have a lovely day. Oh, that's nice.
Bye.
Sally says, fab show yet again. Well, thank you, Sally. Thank you very much indeed. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, you guys take care. We're going to Toulon, and I'll be on tonight at 6:30 in Spain, 5:30 the UK with Evita, and we'll have a good little chat there. So see you guys very, very soon.